Hi everyone. Thank you so much for having participated in our reporting webinar. This is a quick follow-up with a few answers to your most frequently asked questions, along with a short guide on how you can actually go ahead and create them, because we will be leaving in our follow-up email a guide on how you can replicate each one of these reports that you see on the board right here. So first things first, we have had some UI updates from the moments that we had the webinar up until now, and I will be guiding you right through this video on how you can do them. So first things first, you'll see that reports are going to be at the bottom of your left-hand menu. And when you jump in here, you will be taken into your default board, which is going to be your first one right here. To be able to create new ones, this is the one that I actually shared during the webinar, Nat's job board. All you have to do is go to the add button right here. It's the blue button, and this will open up a drop-down menu that contains reports, goals, and boards. If you do want to create a board, maybe for yourself, for your team, or even a test environment for other team members that do have access to being able to create and modify reports, then you can go ahead and do that right here and maybe give it test board environment name, and then go ahead and save it. Once that's saved, you'll notice that it's a blank canvas, and you can start dragging and dropping reports that maybe you have created in the past and start filling in this blank spot. This menu of reports and goals that you have created in the past, or even the ones that were created for you by Loxo, are accessible to you by just clicking on this menu on the top left, which is 3 horizontal lines, and that will open it. And yes, you can just click and drag them into this blank spot right here. To navigate from one board to the next, go to the second button at the top right that's next to add, and then click on that drop down arrow. Over here, you'll see a list of all of the different boards that you have. And now I'm gonna go ahead and click on Nat's job board, which is the one that we talked about during the webinar. One of the most frequently asked questions that we received is, what if I actually want to see the detailed information of these general pieces of information, or these general numbers, or these general graphs? I do apologize for not having shown this to you during the webinar, but all you have to do is click onto the image, and this will give you a detailed view of what we're actually speaking about. You can see it as a detail, you can see it as a summary, or you can actually just export this and take it into any reporting tool like Power BI or Tableau as a CSV summary view, which is this one, or the detailed view, which would be this one right here, that contains all of the different fields of information, and you can go ahead and do more analytical work into it. That being said, it does work for this particular section, but you can also do the same thing for the ones that are numbers related whenever you click into the middle of the box of any of these. Now I'm going to show you how you can start creating reports. Let's head back into this blue button at the top right that says add, and in the drop down menu, you'll notice that it says report, goal, board. I've already shown you how to create boards. Now let's talk about the difference between reports and goals. Reports are going to be based on your measured performance. What this means is that anything that has been happening or that has happened in your Loxo system is going to be a numeric value. It's going to be measured. It's something that has happened, versus a goal, which is something that you are working towards. It could be that you want to do 50 interviews this month and you've done 25. So you're at a 50% way of fulfilling that goal. This is going to be your percentage metrics in terms of how you're tracking towards fulfilling that goal. Our reporting webinar was fully based on reports, but goals work very, very much the same. Interviews this month, so that could be your target number. But these will definitely vary from company to company, and as a team member they might vary as well. So we're mostly focusing on reports in terms of what I will be showing you on this video. I'm going to go ahead and click on reports so we can take a look at what types of reports you can create on Loxo. Over here, you'll notice a drop-down menu. If you click into it, you will be able to do reports based on activities, jobs, people, revenue, and tasks. Whenever you click into each individual one of these, you'll notice that there's a couple of options or a single option. So for activities, you can create reports based on activity performance or on call performance if you have a VoIP provider integrated into the system. When it comes to jobs, you can create reports based on job performance or stage conversion, which is the funnel that I showed you during the webinar. For people, think of your people database, which is the second button from your left-hand menu. You will be able to create reports based on candidate insight, so anyone that has been an actual candidate within your jobs, or people insight example. And this will be the report that you might be looking for. You also have access to revenue reports. This could be the deal performance or placement performance. Deal performance is fully based on this particular section right here of your Loxo, and it is going to be the forecasting of business development in general. So let's say that you're a 360 recruiter and you're also doing some BD work for your team. You might want to do some prospecting, outreach. Maybe you're going to book a discovery call until you actually close the deal with a potential client. This is going to be the place that you create that workflow and add all of the information, which you will be able to create reports on based on them right here. When it comes to placement performance, whenever you put a candidate in the hired or placed section of your workflow, this information of the placement cards, may it be the salary that they're on, the percentage fee, or the fixed fee, or if there's any split fees, that's going to be right here for all of you. And you can go ahead and click continue. Last but not least, we've got tasks. So anything that you have created for yourself or for another team member is going to be living right here in case you want to understand how many tasks you have done as a team or individually. And you can do that as well depending on what types of tasks they have been created. Once you're happy with what you have selected, you can go ahead and click on continue. Now that we've clicked continue for a job performance report, you will notice that there's a faint job section right here that will let you identify what type of report you're actually going to be creating. This will automatically create a filter for dates created, but if you don't want this to be accounted for, you can go ahead and delete it by clicking on this section right here. I've gone ahead and I've added it again, but I just want to show you the other types of filters that you can start adding in. So the information that you see in your graph can be more detailed or can be more specific to what you're looking for. So to add additional filters, just click on this blue plus button that's in this filtering section right here. And you can go ahead and do that by status, for example. I want to take a look at all of my active jobs. I don't want to take a look at these other types of jobs. So this is going to create a filter for these particular jobs. Let's say that I also want to take a look at particular companies. I can go ahead and click on all companies that I want to take a look at. Or if I want to omit a particular company, I can just go ahead and click on this section and say is not Loxo, for example. And that will filter out all of the jobs that are created for Loxo company, but that are still active. And in this case, we'll see that Dan has created 12 jobs. Okay, so these are filters. Remember that you can just go ahead and select them from this blue plus button right here. These will also show any that you have created and you have started to populate yourself and with your team. And then let's take a closer look at what we see in this particular graph section. You have all of these different options in terms of how to present it. So it can be a graph view, a line view, a pie chart, or a whole number in this particular case. Let's go back into graph view. You'll see that there's a few different options on the left-hand side of your graph, at the bottom, and on the top right. When it comes to segment by, think of this information just being broken down into particular pieces of information. So let's say that I want to see this graph segmented by the company. Since I've removed Loxo, Loxo shouldn't be part of this. And that is going to be it. So we've got 5 at Google, 3 at Apple, et cetera, et cetera. And now it is distributed in different colors and I can easily identify that. This is the number of jobs that we have created by company and they are differentiated by color. So you can definitely play around between these filtering ways and visibility ways within your graph. Let's say that you want us to get a better understanding of the detail of what happened on October 6th during this week. Just click on that, and that will open those 2 jobs, location, company, and all of the fields of information that are important for you. If you didn't want to download it and you have downloading capabilities, you can just do that by clicking on this export button where you can see summary or the detailed view, and just go ahead and click on export. To add additional fields of information into this report, you can go ahead and click on this gear icon, and you can select what other pieces of information you want to appear in here. And that is it. Amazing. So at the bottom, you can see the general detailed and summary view of the above report. And this will contain all of the pieces of information that are important for you. And you can also access the different fields that you want to add or remove because they might be important for you or not. Once you're happy with what you have created, just go to the top right and click on Save Report. You can give the report a name, and you can add it into that particular board that you have created. So for example, Nat's job board, and you can go ahead and click Save. Once you have saved this report, you'll see that there's a few things that have changed at the top. You can see that it has been added into one board, which is the one that we just added it into. You can click on the 3 dots and you can add to an additional board. You can rename the report or you can delete it. Or you can go ahead and just do a general export of this report. Again, summary, detailed, and you can download this chart, this piece of information, and just click on export. Depending on what you select, you will either receive a download from your web browser or this will be sent via email. So make sure that you do check your email in a few minutes. Another question that we received was getting a better understanding of the rejection reasons that you are receiving for your jobs and being able to visualize that quite easily. So to do that, let's go to the blue add button at the top right and click on that and select report. On this, because we're talking about the building blocks of jobs, we're talking about people, about candidates, we'll want to select people instead of jobs. So let's go ahead and click on people. Once we're in the people reporting section, make sure that you select candidate insights and click on continue. Within the candidates insights section, you'll notice that we again will have a filter based on the date created this past month. I'm going to go ahead and remove that so we have the general scope of information. Next thing is asking myself, what type of information am I looking for? Could it be that I want to get a bigger scope for the rejection reasons for a particular client of mine, as in like a company? Or do I want to take a look at general jobs, for example, all of my software engineer jobs? Or if I want to take a look at something by owner, for example, to understand if one of the recruiters might be pitching the job in the right way or isn't to the candidates. So it can definitely vary according to your specifics. So let's actually go ahead and do it by company. And I'll go ahead and I'll select Loxo. Now we understand that we've got company is Loxo. I can go ahead and also add an additional layer, an additional filter, which could be, in this case, the rejection type. The rejection type, I will be able to select if it's by the recruiter who rejected the candidate, or if the candidate rejected the position, or if the hiring manager rejected the candidate. So I will be able to select which one I actually want to take a look at. Let's say, for example, that it's by the candidate. The candidate was the one who rejected this position. They don't potentially think that it could be a good fit. Now we get a more detailed view in our graph of the number of candidates that have actually rejected positions for Loxo. We have a general number, which is 16, but if we actually wanted to see it in a graph view, we definitely can. I would actually encourage you to keep it segmented by none. We don't want any segmentation, but you can group it, and this is where it's important, by the rejection reason. Now you get a better understanding that 12 candidates actually rejected this position because they're not interested in the job responsibilities, they did not accept an offer, was not interested in the company, and one was missing the certification. So these could be the rejection reasons. You could look at it in this way, or you can take a look at it in a line view or in a pie chart, which could actually give you more detailed information or a better glance of the information that you're looking for, or you can take a look at it as a general number. Once again, all of the detailed view and information with all of the fields of information is going to appear at the bottom. You also have the summary of what actually happened over here at the bottom as well. But if you want to download this as an exported file, make sure that you save this report, give it a name, add it into a board if you think that it would be a good report to have in any specific board. You don't have to, this is optional. And you can go ahead and click save. And then once again, go to the top right and click on the export button. Hopefully this was a helpful video. Please make sure to take a look at the attached document on how you can create the reports that we did during the webinar, and I will see you at another time. Thank you again. Bye. Don't forget that you can always access support by clicking on the question mark icon on the top of your picture or your initials at the bottom left. This will open up a blue pop-up window on the right of your Loxo screen where you can start a conversation with Artemis. If you go ahead and ask Artemis, I'm looking for a report that can give me this kind of information, what should I do? Artemis will be able to prompt you in the right direction and help you in the process. And if you're not getting the right answers, of course, you can further on access our support team.